Sending up kaleidoscopes, line setting, high interference, high position location directions, to understand what you're seeing through adaptation. It's important you understand how to set locations to the inner child of your set location setting. You have to really recognize these things. Your positioning directions is all of the surfacing into the allocate switch centers when it comes into your chakra settings. And you understand the position of its operation to its activation stream. You really have to recognize these things. Okay. You guys were in the future communications, but you weren't in position of activation. It's a lot different when you activate your chakras one by one. The central calculation set line sets you into a millennium. A millennium has a core, just like anything else has its source. The recognition location is its time sequence times calculation times pi. The position location of its directions is to give you a better understanding. So I figure in positions of class, the line set locations will go into 30 million rounds of communication and set lines at 30,000 line signatures in position line directions into 3 circles, 3 center line position locations, high setting. Put you guys in platitude division locations, calculations, high setting rotation. So everybody that comes in line position is going to be traveling right away into the millennium core, sending calculation streamlines and set lines in positional levels. 6 is an observation line, set location of 7th dimension, 8th dimension, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, child locations traveling very fast as calculation streamlines. So as you guys are in 30 million years in future allocate timelines and high interference, you have to learn how to control the mind setting. Mind setting is extremely important because your position location could change time sequence times line. If you get in position location to inhibitor, the inhibitor sets its locations to all of a setting. Its position locations how you use the correlation system to the mystical cortex lines of vibration setting. It's the placebo cortex to the cerebral that sets line position locations to a GPS, sending calculation streamlines into levels of triangulation. The interface high center interference is putting in position location in all levels of direct line setting, putting you guys in calculation streams in all levels of track location. Now, getting you guys in that division line setting sets you guys in more levels in its millennium. Okay, status quo. Okay, quotation on 2 line settings of 4 track locations. 6 in position, 8th with the 9, 10 within center. Okay, so we got 2 line settings into 2 thumbs at position locations into moonline rotations. Look inside locations. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Initiate run program. Hold in on signal. All right, setting signals in high center, high interference, 30 million track settings, location of future line. The error and the quotation set location is high center interference. It's setting position location time frames, time locks, time line interference, and position location direct lines. So I figure when you guys come in track setting line interference, it gets you in position location directions, right? Because basically the avatar knows exactly what's going on once it comes into school sets. So understand the recognition of time, sequence of locations, lock interference, high position location directions. So in that line, it comes into all levels of sync. It comes into systematic level of Y lines in position location to its new of its communication cycle that sets line position locations into its calculation streamlines. Comes into sync. Okay. You box its position location of calculation of systematic line to Y line setting into all levels of neutralized interference and new line center location of communication. 4 track settings into higher levels of communication to a walk surface. You guys have to learn how to set line position locations into a half pipe setting calculation to a circle rotation setting rotation. Understand track lines and rotations to a communications in a full cycle line setting and rotations in position location of 6 in line conditions of 9. 6 equals 9 line setting. So I'm not talking about the in sync, I'm talking about sync. So it's synchronizing. Okay. So it comes into all levels of communications to the chronic line setting. Now, chronic line setting is levels of graph locations into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 panels of information line setting. 5 in set locations is set line setting. All right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get a measure count in set locations into 3, 4, 5. So that's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 interference, set locations in half pipe, sets position location of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 sets location in center top setting. sets communication high interference, sets a new program locations into your triangulation line setting through 6 equals locations of its own pi set lines in high center interference in direct location to its moon setting, in rotation to its calculations, all levels of set location. All right. So this is about understanding how to use the zeros in position. Okay, slash position location of rack line settings of 5 0 line position. Okay, flux capacitor communication set. Time sector over pi. Underscore line setting in plus, okay, over triangle set line. Okay. So there's a lot of communication line streams when you come in position location a higher level. So it's all about understanding not just the tracker system activation line streams, but really recognizing the balance of all communication and how it works for all levels of U. This is all about synchronizing its set locations and how you set communications to each planet of its rotation of its triangulation setting. And 4-line setting is set location. And 3-line settings. And 8-line settings. Okay. Into 12. Into 16. Okay. And position locations of 20. Now the 20 line sets position location all levels. So you got 20 line settings. You got 24 position of ground settings. You got 48 position location of windows, 72 line setting rotations into 144 track location. Crop circle. So if you understand how to use a crop circle, this is a crop circle that's on the ground setting. Okay. So you really have to understand how to code weave, right? The correlation sets. Remember we got into the school line setting and we're getting position locations where you have the rotors. Do, you know, you're dialing, you put your finger in the hole and it's, well, that's what it is. That's all it is. It's understanding the 12 set locations, the 24 line settings, the 20 communication settings, the 48 windows, the 72 computer set locations, and 144. Everything is set locations. You have your 24, you have your 48, you have your 72, and you have your 144, and all levels of crop circles. Okay. The recognition line setting is all levels of position locations of pi. How it sets its symbols in all correlation to its position of direction. So getting into the I line of track line, you come into this position locations. Okay. And this is the grounds. Okay. So let's start with that locations. All right. So a UFO comes in, scans position, center line. Now, it's all about understanding the line width of communications. You got sonar channels. There's graph lines of 3, right? 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. So you got 7, right? Equal line condition of sonar. Sonar position location of directions. Direction location equal line condition of division. Okay, setting calculation set lines into 3-track locations. Now, once it comes in 3-track location, it creates another anomaly of another space line of around position locations of calculation streams. Let's go into 3. Let's go into high center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 set position locations, calculation high setting. Now it just changes the circle lines in rotation cycles and 3 communication cycle settings. In position of 4, line cross, line cross, line cross, line cross through pi through calculation. There's your crop circle. Right? All through a 7th dimensional stream set in position to its dimension. The division line center in a rotation cycle is really understanding how to set location to its high interference. So getting in position locations, when you're traveling through space lines of streams, you really have to understand where crop circles are and why are they on the ground setting. It's all levels of U through position locations into all center communications of all levels of travels, all calculations, inline rotations to your position locations in track line settings in your communications of pi. Pi recognition of U through space, pi recognition of U through time, and position location of perception through all position location of its awareness of its information. Okay. All right. So there's a lot understanding. Yeah, the rotary phone. Yeah. Okay. So we've got a very complicated day. You guys are already traveling 30 million future line position locations into the Millennium Core. Let me know what you see through calculation stream sets. Lindsay, Val, how's it going? Andy, communication line interference. Andy, yes, I did saw the design of the drawing. It's very powerful what you just drew. All calculations of Bala Girl. Position locations. Let's see. Geneva, Eisenhower, vendor calculation level JP. Gypsy calculation Sam, high levels of all set locations. Yolanda. David, Pyra. Day structures Laura. McCall. Let's see. Anita, welcome. Jill. Let's see, AJ, and the key communication settings. Line setting, Lauren, position location, set location settings. Let's see here. We got line communication streams, line position location, allocate timelines, and all set position. All right. Okay, so in that line interference there, all position locations, AJ, you want to get into pre-flight ready to go. Okay, coming into this location and saying good morning doesn't help the system when it goes into trial line setting. So in that line center, when you're in the atmosphere locations, then you can say, hey, morning guys, how's it going? So you're already in line center rotation interference. You want to confuse anything through line setting. Okay, so it's 40 locations. All right. So it's all about pre-flighting your system before you travel. Okay, it's very extremely important. Okay, we pick this up as we go. You're doing pre-flight checks before you do anything when you're in the atmosphere line setting. Okay, whether you understand you're traveling already is already in position locations to know exactly what is spaced inside of you through Prosper. Okay, how fast you're traveling is the correlation to its space of time, well, not just through pi calculations, but it's all about controlling the mindset. You see yourself through solar system line setting. When you come into the solar system line setting, you're in position location of higher levels of travel locations, right? So every time you come on in position of space-time creator, you're going into pre-flight check. Okay. Or you can go into the title of everything that I put up every single day on my YouTube. All right. So I get into correlations of X, Y, and line setting. We're coming into channel operation streamlines. Pre-flight check. Done. So you have the title of the fence, you know the day, how it's going to go, you pre-flight everything, and then you travel. You have to be aware of these things. Okay, so setting communication line settings. Now you guys have a test on Monday, so you have the whole weekend. All right, today's Saturday set. You have Sunday and Monday is calculation stream. Don't have any expectation on the test because life is about distraction. Okay, that's why I'm putting you guys into higher communications and reverberations, voicing channels, operation cycles, high generation light streams into sequel set line settings. The chronicity set locations into all levels to its set line setting. Okay. The chronological line indifference is position of its difference on its own calculation stream. You have to recognize these things in all calculation settings. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I see it's like a movie. Yep. Well, that's all that is, the film star locations. So we always start with zero gravity into one ground setting, into position of 2, in position location of 3, in position locations of 4, in position locations into 5, set line position locations high setting, in position locations into 6, in line center communication. See, that's all it is. That's 0 to 6. Okay. Zero gravity line setting, gravel locations, in position of 1. Okay. 2 line center line equals security line division. All right. 0 line position location is the sacral communications and connections to double helix. Okay. Set locations. So this is hieroglyphics, guys. We're coming into hieroglyphics now through all position of numbers. So set communication of 0 and set location of 1, in position locations into 2, in position of 3, in position of 4, in position of 5, in position of 6. Okay. So you understand why the chakras are set in the pyramid set locations. Each one has a pyramid dime set. Its set location to its own pyramid setting, which comes into its own calculation stream of a map. Mapping sequence line setting, high line rotations of a totem pole set in position location to its high setting. Pyramids are set up in all communication set rotations like this in calculations. Then you come into the film strips of all line settings and strip locations. Setting communication line setting sets all position location to its pyramid of its activation setting. There's the pyramid right there. Okay, that's how pyramids are set up. The center communication line center rotation is the center operation of everything. Okay. So this is where you have to really understand the flux capacitor comes in position of 4. The solar generation light setting sets positions to its direct locations, right? There's a flux capacitor. This is what's in the center core of its pyramid system location. Understand line signatures comes into the laser direct location of the 3 panels. See? To understand what you're seeing through a pyramid, how pyramids are set up. This is how you create pyramids, all through your chakra settings. Getting you guys at a high setting, high interference, releasing all communication setting towards rotation surface. So getting a position location high setting, right? So no more static interference in set locations, right? You have to be cautious in what you do through your thought settings because you're changing position or direction. This is where it comes into the elixir. This is where it comes into the cosmic flame, cosmic fire, into the serpent flame, serpent fire calculation setting. Okay. You have to learn how to use your voice set locations in all levels of calculation setting. But I'm just showing you the basic understanding how to create its pyramid of its film strip, of its line condition, of its design to its high setting of the hydroglyphic location into the other. Okay. All right, let's see. Scrambler, like a bookcase scene in the movie Interstellar, froze. Yes, it froze because it was correlating to its pyramid setting. So you have to be very cautious in what you do with your thought location set location settings. Millennium Core and Space Odyssey Hydrosphere. Very good. Excellent. Seeing the core in the sphere of water that the light travels through, sun to projector, is where thoughts frames are created. Whoop, whoop. So getting that position location is all opposite recognition of time setting. So direct line settings in line rotation interference. Pyramid position locations in 1, pyramid position locations of 2. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a multipass. Setting communications in line center of triangulation line setting interference. What are pyramids and position location is calculation of 3 line settings is all calculation how you see location settings. All right, so this is how it sets location. So what is a pyramid set location? Pi of operation, guys. Okay, that's what pyramids are called, pi of operation. Are we connecting now to the sun code high center interference, the sun graph line rotation interference into your flywheel communication settings to understand the color coordination to its 12, 24, 48, 72, and 144 correlation set lines? It's all direct line setting and position locations into all sets. Okay? So as you understand, you're the center of operation to its own flux capacitor communication. So setting communications comes into shields on both side calculations, right? You need shields and plates. And then you got your panels of operation cycles of space and time, setting correlations to its center communication, to the zero gravity, to the power direction of time, into your magnetic high information line setting, into your pyramid system. All right? Film strips line signals and high line rotation interference and calculation. There's your pyramid. There's so many ways of communication line setting a pi of operation location. Now that's the 60 operation cycles and set lines at division locations when it comes into 80 of pi through the sun line. 60 is the pi of operation. 80 is the pi of operation of the sun. So now you understand the 6 and the 8. 6 and the 8 and the 7 is the center line of the cosmic view of your galaxy shift lines of travel recognition, line interference, of correction of time setting into positions of pyramids of pi. All right, center calculation streamlines is all levels and how you set locations. All right, so we're coming into higher communications. All right. We come to Fibonacci swirl, we come into a box, we come into a starline setting, into Merkaba position location of tesseract channel, operation cycles. Okay, course channel, flux capacitor. Position line directions, center top communication, right? Center top side positions are all calculations into 4-line setting, into all set locations, into its position of its Stargate. Stargate opens line position locations, all levels, into your pyramid system. Your pyramid system line communicates its film strips and 4-line division locations. Center calculation is all levels of the ground line center of circle line rotation and division. Center calculations to a circle line rotation to its ground setting. rotation surface and higher communication surface line settings into a magnetic highway information line setting. Open all track lines setting into your pyramid activation. That's it. There's the pyramid. Pyramids are set in so many line connections, guys. You have to truly understand the pie of its provision. The location centers and the allocated time switches is all levels of view through track location. Okay? So the direct line signals is understand how to set locations with high setting. Let's say you get a provisional location of 0 gravity and 2 line rotations, right? So you got line position of 3, you got position of 6, bracket in position of 3. Remember, always bracket the 3 zeros. All right, so that's 12,000, 3 over 9 over 6. So film strip, okay? It's going to get more complicated. There's a lot of stability here because the activation line settings allocate timeline interference. Because you're traveling extremely fast in interstellar mode location of Maching, you're Maching 6 right now. So it's trying to find the reference and its communication and stability. It's going to bounce out setting. All right, so once you get into 3, 9, and 6, you come into 6, you come into 7, and you come into 8, another film strip locations. Okay, it's that location of 8 in position of 9. So what you're doing is you're going up to the total pole from 0 to 12. Every pyramid goes from 0 to 12, 12 to 0. 9 position of 10, 11 to 12. So here in 12 line setting, 1, 2. The allocated time switch sets position location to its bottom pyramid position, comes into its Merkaba of its tesseract locations into a magnetic lines cube and set location to all levels of box location inside line. Setting communication high interference into another film strip locations, top of the pyramid sets locations in its line directions. There's another pyramid. So the setting up pyramids is all levels through what? Your DNA, right? All right, I'm going to take you guys out because there's a lot of static line interference. Cosmic interference line locations, all levels, electrical lights, electrical panels, discharge, high center interference, plasma electrical light settings to put positions back in track, bring the team back in calculation. You get back, close your windows, line center, check your plate rights, set locations, settings. Getting position location, direction location is setting changes equals 60 in percentage in set location. Okay. 3-0 communication, 60,000 line channels in all position locations of operation, right? So 60% line boxes position locations into 40 sets communications, equal line connections, again, bracket. Recognition of timelines and space lines is truly stand at all levels of how you set locations of your settings. You have to really recognize all levels of operation to your perceptions of its program locations. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. You have to understand the position of right over left. Right, left. I line is your timestamp. Center calculation is your position locations, your hologram. Okay? So the I line is here and here. Okay? So this is your right, this is your left. So you're crossing over, right? So when you're crossing over, you're going to the left side and the right's going over to the right side. Okay? So left equals line center right, right equals line connections of left location. Setting calculating time interference, open up all position location how you see your self lines. Setting position location of travels and 12 line signals. Setting communication of the levels and high center interference and set locations into your positions of your pyramid. See it? There's your pyramid. So how you see things is extremely important. How you use your visionary cortex line streams. It sets position locations into your right channels, into your left locations. Okay, then you come into the line center rotations into position locations of the moon setting and set locations to the sun. This is the sun, there's the moon. Hooah. There's the sun, there's the moon, there's your eye settings. There's the pyramid, there's the cross signal, left position of right over left, left over to right. Hologram structure stands on point view in position of direction. Center calculation sets a plateau, a platform. So it's going. All right, setting communication, screenshot that. So once you get into that position line directions, you understand the importance, right? Because this is what you're looking at through a window setting locations, all right? One position location direct line setting. Okay, so you got to understand how to set locations and direct locations to set lines into its own pi calculation. change in position locations. This changes into center calculation setting. This puts position locations back in center into one location. One location. One location. Okay? So now you understand the eye receptor and position location directions, why it's so important to see these things to all settings, right? Okay, bring you guys down. Right, stability, instability is going to come back. Setting calculation streamlines. Bring it out of calculation. Wipe the screen. See? Wipe the screen. Slow down the measures. Keep you guys in balance calculations because you're all triggered now. So it's about understanding how this works all levels of view, recognizing your time and set lines, how a pyramid is activated through its own correlation in its position of its direction to the chronicity set location's high setting into all levels of sync and position line directions through its own pi of recognition of space and time. Okay? So I know. See, that's very, very high risk. So now you understand the communication setting, why it's so important for your 12 DNA, how it's now made. It's created through line allocation of source. Okay. All right. Guys, out of stability settings. A lot of static. Yeah. Interference, right? It won't be unstable. Your stability is all calculation set lines. So getting out of that set locations puts you in a better balance of high line setting. The hydrosphere and the communication cyclone is set lines in your division location. You see everything around you you're seeing yourself in the center correlation setting. It's all about understanding how you see these things through track location. So, all right, so let's see here. Excited for this new remembering hieroglyphics, scrambling the book, scenes. Yeah, and that's where we're coming into now. We're coming in hieroglyphics, hydroglyphics, aerodynamics. We're coming in so many calculation streamlines. Surrounding colors, the water images being played on the sides, hieroglyphics behind the images and fake view until I pay attention to them because it's clear, clear, clear. I want you to understand the importance of when your chakras are activated because your space is different. Your time is different. Your clarity, your focus, application of you through time, through sequence. It's understanding your 12 DNA paths.